I and my wife Jane have been married for 11 years, no kids. We were a pretty chubby couple until 2 years ago, when I had a blood test, and it came out that I was prone to contracting diabetes, gout, and hypertension. It really scared me, and we both, bit by bit, started to have a very healthy life. I went from 117 to 85 kilograms, and my wife Jane went from 83 to 65 kilograms. We felt great, and needless to say, I never developed those diseases. We attended a gym almost daily in the afternoon, where AP worked as a coach. Let us call him Baldy. When my wife started getting in shape, I noticed most guys turned to see her. I felt so proud of her. She is fairly busted, and she has magnificent legs. Of course, Baldy wasn't the exception. I noticed Baldy likes to check women's buttocks. I've seen him do it several times, and he likes to show off how ripped he is. When Jane and I were regulars at the gym, I noticed she was enjoying the attention she got from men. Once, when we were using the elliptical machines, in front of them was a cable machine. Baldy took off his t-shirt and started doing crossovers. I turned to Jane with my face and asked, "Can you believe this guy?" But she was staring at him, and she wet her lips. I saw Baldy, and I swear he was grinning. I felt crushed. I mean, I was getting in shape, but I am not as muscular and fit as he is. When we were driving home, I made a comment about Baldy showing off, and Jane said, "Really?" I didn't notice, I told her. "You were staring." She said, "I don't remember. I must have been thinking about something else." I shrugged it off and kept driving, but from there on, I noticed they were talking more frequently at the gym. Some weeks later, Jane was doing squats using the Smith machine. Suddenly, Baldy went to help her. Isn't he nice? He was grabbing her by the waist, and I got angry. She finished the first set, and I got there and told him in a not nice way, "I got it from here." Baldy just smiled and told me, "No probe, buddy," he calls everybody buddy, and walked off. Jane knows me very well, and when she heard my angry tone, she said, "My God, Opie." I told her, "We'll discuss this at home." At home, drama blew up. She called me immature and jealous. I told her I noticed he was trying to get into her pants, and she said that she knew that but she would never cheat on me. I asked her then why she let him touch her, and she said she didn't want to be rude. About an hour later, after arguing, we agreed to change gyms. So we went to another place to do exercise, but Jane was resentful at me in the following months. Her argument was that I didn't trust her. On the third month after we changed gyms, a very good opportunity opened up in my job, but in the afternoon. We discussed it, and I took it, and we had to attend the gym at different hours. I went in the morning, and Jane went in the afternoon. This is when it all went south. Jane's resentment increased, and we barely spoke. I sent her messages telling her about my day, that I miss her, and memes. But she rarely replied or just said, "Yes, okay, same here, ha ha ha." I was very worried and proposed couple therapy. She said I was the one who needs therapy because I'm the one with trust issues. I agreed. I was so desperate to fix our marriage that I even thought it was all my fault. So the following year, 2022, I went to therapy, but Jane's behavior didn't change. We weren't intimate anymore. She was never in the mood. I snooped at her phone but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. I looked into her car for a second phone. Nothing. I checked her phone again to see her map history. It only showed me house, workhouse, gym, house. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she just said that she feels like she's in her 40s. It'll pass. I never had any evidence of cheating, so I continued working and worrying. We live in a condo. The security guard, a very cheerful man called Mr. P, greeted me. We chat a lot. He was touching his shoulder and told me yesterday he had to move a heavy sofa, and he has some pain today. I was sympathetic, and he dropped the bomb. "Maybe you can arrange a meeting with your massages," I told him. "Who?" He said, "The guy who came yesterday to massage Mrs. Jane." It took me a second to process this. I told him, "Do you have a video of him?" I think he noticed I was pale and hurried to show me. Guess who? Baldy, of course, has come a few times to massage my wife. I took the day off and started investigating. I asked a coworker for his car, and in the afternoon I followed Jane. She parked her car at the mall where the gym is, and there is Baldy waiting for her. They giggle and behave like a couple. Kisses, hugs, and I feel nearly to tears. They walk a couple of blocks and go into a residential area. I tried to follow them with my phone ready to record, but the guard stopped me and asked, "Can I help you?" I just said, "What a nice couple. Do you know them?" He said he thinks they are newlyweds but can't tell me anything else. I called Jane, but she never answered. I went to her car in the mall and wondered why that place didn't show up on the map. I dial again, and I can hear her phone inside her car. That's why. I also found out Jane hasn't attended the gym in 8 months. I didn't know that the previous night was the last day I slept with Jane in the same bed. I returned the car, went home, and called my parents. Fortunately, my dad answered, and I told him everything. I was crying, and he comforted me and told me to get evidence. Obviously, my marriage is over, and I need all I can gather while he'll contact one of his friends who is an excellent divorce lawyer. Jane called me when she saw the 2 missing calls. I just told her I was ready at home, and she told me, I'm on my way from the gym. My butt is killing me, yeah, I can guess. When she saw me, she asked, what happened? Why did you cry? I don't know how, but I was mentally focused. I smiled and told her I got the flu, that's why I left work early. Don't come near me, it might be the bug I'll be testing tomorrow. I'll sleep in the spare room. She agreed. I cried silently and didn't sleep a wink. At nearly midnight, I heard her giggling. I guess she's messaging Baldy, but I didn't find any evidence of her contacting another man. Then it hit me. Why didn't I see it earlier? I bet AP is disguised as one of her female coworkers. In the morning, while Jane was in the shower, I took her phone, created a session on my laptop, and put her phone back in the same place. We both can unlock our phones. The session works while the phone is close to my laptop or on the same Wi-Fi account. Then I saw it. Under a female name, the profile picture was a dumbbell. I entered, and most of the conversations were deleted. I guess they use work words as code in case I snooped. Can you deliver the papers to my desk? I know she doesn't have a desk at work. Going to the meeting. Where are you? On top of them, boss is in his office. He's clueless, pretty clever. I guess I am boss, because I know her boss is a woman. Jane got out of the shower and saw me. You look worse. Why don't you stay with your parents? I denied the idea of getting evidence. After Jane went out, I contacted my dad, who gave me the name and number of the lawyer. I called him and explained everything. He told me the captions I took from my laptop are useless. They don't have any factual evidence since this is not AP's name, and she was smart enough to leave pieces of conversation that look pretty innocuous. I can take pictures of them at the mall, but she can argue they are just good fellas, and I can't invade the residential area without permission because it might get me into more trouble. At work, I was in zombie mode, thinking about how to get evidence. I might install secret cameras in my house, but Baldy rarely goes to my home, and Jane might find them. Unless I'm out of the picture. I texted Jane and told her I'm positive about the bug and I'll stay at my parents' because I might need help. She liked the idea and told me she would miss me, but she'd call me every day. When I hung up, I called my dad and my brother. When I got home, she had already packed a suitcase for me. She was so eager to get rid of me. I told her I'd take my laptop, and then I checked her messages. Boss will be out of the office. Want to come to my desk? She sent this message almost after I told her I was positive for the bug. Good, she bit. We didn't have dinner. No kisses, no hugs. I noticed her watching her watch twice. From the door, I told her, I'll miss you. I was expecting her to shut the door on my face, but she walked me to my car. And I was gone. My dad and brother were outside the building waiting for Baldy to appear, but he didn't show up. After half an hour, I thought, why did she walk me to my car? Of course, because Baldy was already inside the building, perhaps inside her car. It would be very suspicious if her massages came at this hour. I came back, hurried to my house, and entered silently. I heard music coming from the bedroom and moans. Next to the door is a sofa. His and her clothes were on it. I put my phone to record and opened the bedroom door, and there she was, my wife, the love of my life for 11 years, with Baldy behind her. I got very good seconds of both of their faces when they saw me open the door. Jane screamed and covered herself with the blanket. Baldy went alpha male, immediately walking naked towards me. I took a shot of him doing raw with my wife. He yelled aggressively at me. Why don't you go for a walk, buddy? I hit his trough with my hand open. I saw this movement in the Mel Gibson movie Ransom. The next second, Baldy was coughing and gasping while kneeling on the floor. I yelled, get out of my house, and kicked him out. I threw his clothes at him when my dad, brother, and Mr. P were arriving at my house. I told them, I'll take it from here, and I closed the door. Jane was still on the bed, covering herself. She was trembling. I told her, I have never hurt you, nor will I. Get dressed. I'll wait for you in the living room. While I was waiting, I sent the video to my lawyer, and he answered, I'm sorry for you, but jackpot. A few minutes later, Jane showed up, She couldn't see me in the eyes. I started recording the conversation. I asked, why? She didn't answer. Was I such an awful husband to you? She started crying but didn't answer. Do you love him? She shakes her head but said no words. I stood up and hit the table. Say something, Jane. Damn it. She opened her eyes wide and started trembling again, like a puppy when she was scared. I have never yelled at her before. I sat and talked calmly. My lawyer will contact you for the divorce. Get a lawyer. She finally spoke. We can fix this. Fix what? Our marriage was over since Baldy was in the picture, and you chose him over me. It was a mistake. No, it wasn't. It was a choice. You chose, and this is the consequence. What did you think would happen when I found out? Silence again. Go to your sisters and tell her the truth, or I will show her the video. She went to the bedroom and started packing. I followed her and watched. Since 2 days ago, I have been trying to convince myself that my wife is long gone. The person with whom I shared my house is not my wife. But seeing her neatly put her clothes inside the suitcase with her gracious movements and those little things I love about her hit me hard. I went to the spare room and started ugly crying. I heard when she closed the main door. She picked up her clothes that were on the sofa. She made the bed where I caught them, and I dropped to the floor. So much later, I called my dad. He told me Baldy wanted to press charges, but Mr. P told him he didn't sign in, so he's trespassing. The condo can sue him. He dropped it and went out. My nosy brother pressed his ear on the door, and my dad took him from the other ear to his car. I was exhausted. The previous days, I didn't sleep well, so I almost passed out in the spare room. The next morning, my phone had a lot of Jane's messages apologizing and asking for a second chance. I just blocked her. My sister called me. Apparently Jane hasn't told her what happened, just that we're fighting. I guess it's good my FIL is not alive to see Jane's behavior. She was the youngest and his favorite. Emile has senile dementia. All this happened a week ago. Next week, Jane is going to be served. Friends, if this situation has happened with you, what will you do?